All right, welcome from sunny California. This is the number one MMA show, episode number 1, starring Eric Anderson and
Chad Butler.
And we're here to talk about UFC-219, starring Holly Holm
And Chris Cyborg.
That's right. So, I guess we should start with the main event. What are your thoughts on Cyborg versus Holm?
Well, I'm worried about one thing with Chris Cyborg, and that's ring rust. She doesn't fight too often, and she doesn't see good challenges in the ring. And I know that Holly Holm has done nothing but fight hard fights for the last couple years, and I'm worried that Holly Holm will just be too relaxed and be able to counter whatever Chris Cyborg's doing.
Yeah. So you think? I mean, that was kind of what she brought in against Ronda, was the fact that everyone else kind of gave her too much respect, and Holly didn't do that. She didn't have that fear aspect. Kind of the same thing that helped Anderson Silva dominate for so long. Was
the fear aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that Chris Cyborg comes in with that too crisp of a Muay Thai style. It's too crisp. It's textbook. And someone like Holly Holm, who's been striking in the highest levels, is going to know how to counter move in a way that no other opponent of Chris Cyborg has fought. It's a whole nother level of striking, and I think that honestly, Holly Holm's wrestling will be enough for that clinch game of Chris Cyborg.
Okay. I mean, I agree with you that Holly Holm has extremely good striking. But I mean, did you watch the kickboxing match between the girl Yorina Barish and her? It was like straight Muay Thai. It was for lion fight.
Between Chris Cyborg
and that kickboxing.
No, I did not.
So that was a crazy fight because it's the best striker she's ever gone against. She couldn't take her to the ground. I mean, there were takedowns. They both took each other down actually, but you couldn't. There was no ground game. Obviously, it was kickboxing. But lion fight, you do everything. It's knees, elbows, takedowns, all of it. And Yorina, well, one thing that she had that nobody else has, Holly doesn't have it, is that that girl was long. She was like 5'11", so she had like 3 inches on Cyborg in height, and she has like long legs, and she has a reach on her. And so she was kind of able to keep her on the outside and kick her at long distance and force her to cover and attack her, while she was coming in. But even then, like Cyborg was the first round, she gets kneed in the face. The girl Yorina just pulls her knee up and just drops Cyborg with a knee, and pretty soon after that, she kicks her in the head and drops her. But Cyborg would just get up and just come in. It's just the way she closes distance is terrifying. I mean, you could in some ways kind of look at a fighter like John Lineker or Jessica Andrade, who's doing the same thing, but she's short, she's small. I mean, Cyborg has a little bit more tact. She's got that same freakish power, and she's large. Here she's gonna be the same size as Holly Holm, but she has that kind of pressuring game plan that is really difficult to stop. She's able to close, and she just has the chin. She doesn't stop coming forward and trying to cut off the ring and lay damage on you.
So the question is really, can Holly Holm keep the distance off of Chris Cyborg?
Yeah.
And now, do you think that her side kicks, what she's known for, her keeping her distance, having good head movement, and her kicks, think she's going to be able to use her front snap kicks, her side kicks to keep the distance from Cyborg?
Well, see, I think what she has, and all the other women that she has fought didn't have, was really, really good footwork, actually, and specifically really good lateral footwork. What she's kind of doing is, she'll do what everyone else does in coming on the right. When she attacks aggressively sometimes, like it's almost like Karateka would come forward, where she actually will take like alternating steps, like pumping the hands with each one, but she kind of goes for that outside angle and then if she can, she'll try and end it with a kick and like step out, to her right. But what she also often does, like when she uses the kicks, is because she's usually retreating the other way. She's kind of going in the inside angle and like forcing them to come that way. They have to like step out, and then it kind of lines her up, especially if they throw a strike and it doesn't reach. It gives her that opportunity to just fire it right down the center line. Just like get right over their leg and answer back. So that where you often see the kicks too, like not always. I think what she needs to do, I think she can land those kicks. Like the long and short answer here is yes, she can use her kicks. She can do it when she's right in front of Cyborg, but it's more dangerous. But when she often does it is when when the person's trying to walk to the dominant angle. They're trying to get out. They're trying to get out to outside that lead leg, and you can't. You can't use the left from there. You can't punch across your body. You could try and throw the right hand, but it's just lined up for the side kick or the hook kick. She threw that hook kick to the head against Jermaine Durandamy in her last fight, and that was really good. I mean, it's you don't have to do any footwork to put yourself in position. They're putting themselves in the position. So that's kind of when her kicks were the most effective, is to stop them. And, actually the same way that Conor McGregor uses his spin kicks oftentimes. It's cutting off that. But he's using it specifically to pressure people, whereas she's not doing that. She's just doing it when they're trying to cut that angle on them. But
Control their movement.
I think, I don't think that she should try to even come in and land punches and get out on Cyborg, because I think Cyborg is going to be planted and specifically ready for that. Yeah. But I think she can take angles and kick. And if she keeps using that lateral movement and not letting Cyborg just focus on defense, essentially, and keeping a good angle.
Staying out of the pocket and countering with kicks.
Yeah, exactly. And just throw the kicks when you feel comfortable. And I wrote in my article, you want to, even a triangle kick is where it's like straight up instead of trying to bring it down and around, instead of kicking it in a way that can slide
from the stance. It's not telegraphed.
Yeah.
In a straight angle.
Exactly.
And difficult to block without crossing your arms or barring it, or or moving,
or even just
totally moving out of the pocket.
Even to the thigh. I just mean even just attacking the thigh, trying to stop the movement, and something that's there. That's what she should be focusing on. Really attacking that leg with low roundhouses, to the calf. It's working the side kicks, the longest weapons you have, because she's not smaller. She actually, I think, has an inch of height on Cyborg, but Cyborg has just got the power still, regardless of height.
And the final question too is, will cardio be a question, really, or this has the potential to be a 5-round match given the striking?
See, I would give the cardio advantage theoretically to Holly Holm, but largely it's because of that style too. I mean, Cyborg inherently in her style is just so aggressive.
In that Muay Thai,
she throws
driving
everything into her strikes,
everything.
So her style inherently will tire quicker. But I've seen her go
5 rounds.
Yeah, I mean,
easily.
In the kickboxing match it was 5 3-minute rounds, but at the end of that, she was
always in shape.
Bullying the girl around. Yeah.
But they both always seem to be in shape.
And you see, Cyborg's last fight against Tanya Evinger, she really was a little bit more reserved than the previous fights. She just came in and murdered her opponent. It was devastating. But this last one, she was just intelligent, didn't leave herself open. I mean, that's kind of the thing the problem is, with Holly Holm, she has essentially a very narrow avenue to victory in that sense. She can't get caught in the clinch, really, for prolonged periods of time, anywhere, especially against the cage.
If she's on her back, she's done.
She's on her back, it's no good, and Cyborg can definitely put her there.
Yeah.
That'll
be a true test.
If she's in the
first
pocket,
few rounds,
if she's trading in the pocket with Cyborg, she can't really win either. So basically, the place that she can win is at her range,
outside,
and
into the punches, into the kicks, cutting her off, not getting caught against the cage.
And Cyborg is really good as a pressure fighter coming forward, and she's really good as a counter fighter if you're trying to put it on her.
She's got every
too.
skill. It'll be a test for
She's
Holly
well
Holm.
rounded. But I think
and imagine this: to be the person to knock out
Cyborg. Holly Holm.
No, Holly Holm knocks out
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey. Imagine
well
knocking out Chris Cyborg though. Would you go down as the greatest of all time?
It's an interesting question because Cyborg has been so dominant for so long too. I mean, and Holly Holm hasn't looked great outside of that Ronda fight. So if she does this, I mean, it's a definitely, she puts her name in the discussion. People, you're gonna see it popping up. It's gonna be, but would I be able to say she's the best ever? It's difficult.
She's one of them at that point.
But she is, yeah. I mean, but right now, what Amanda Nunes is doing, like, how can you say that when Amanda Nunes has just been kind of on a tear? And you could argue
that's a can of worms there.
Like
fight.
You could argue the Valentina fight was boring, or there wasn't much going on. But I think also that's just kind of inherently what happens. Well, when Shevchenko specifically is just like a pure counter fighter, and then so you have to be careful about engaging her. But like, if you play her game, it's going to inherently slow the pace of the fight down. You got to be measured against her. That's why all of her fights are all of Valentina's fights are boring. But I think Amanda against most other people is not going to be like that. Even against, like, it would be interesting to see, like, Amanda versus Cyborg would be nuts.
Maybe next. If she beats.
But, so, do you have a prediction?
I'm going to go Holly Holm.
He's going with Holly Holm.
By head kick.
By head kick. It could definitely happen because, I mean, you see, Holm's kicks are just, they're really good.
Yeah.
They are really good. She's quick with them. There's no telegraph. They have power. She times them well. She sets them up well. She can do it.
It's not that I don't think Chris Cyborg can't win.
Yeah.
But Holly Holm is just, she has a game plan, a good team behind her, and her kicks, she's a smart fighter, and Chris Cyborg has lacked good competition, and that's where I'm at with my prediction. It's not that Chris Cyborg couldn't just wreck Holly Holm, but it's just the fact of her not having good competition for a while now.
Yeah.
And Holly Holm fighting the hard fight, like, every time.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm predicting head kick Holly Holm.
I mean, she, where she was beating Marlos Kunin, who was, like, the baddest back in the day, but she hasn't really fought anyone of recent who really means anything. But that except maybe the kickboxing match, which was insane. All right, so okay.
Next fight.
Well, I gotta put my prediction.
Oh yeah, who do you think's gonna win?
It's tricky because it's, you know what though, as dumb as it, like, as crazy as it seems, I'm kind of calling it for Holly too. Because here's the thing, no one that Cyborg has fought, like, you can say, talk about the quality of competition itself, but I'm going to actually point to specific things that Holly is better at. Like her lateral movement is going to pull her out of danger more often. She's not going to get stuck up against a cage like a lot of these people did. I think even if Cyborg tries to pin her, it's going to take a lot of effort. I think Holly will be able to turn her away from the cage. I think she's not going to get long combinations put up against her because she's going to move. She's going to take the shots to get out, kind of like the way Mayweather famously
stay on
does. Yeah, she I think is intelligent enough to know when it's worth it to take a shot to get to the better position, so that you can do something about it. You can put yourself.
So fight IQ will be an issue.
I think she has real fight IQ. I think if Cyborg sleeps on those kicks, and I think if the fight starts going Holm's way, I could see it continue going Holm's way. If she can focus it in the early rounds, put up some points, if she can win that first round and really put the onus on Cyborg, break Cyborg's inhibitions. You want Cyborg to come out and brawl you, basically. You want her to try and like finish you and draw that out. Try to counter where you can. Try and survive and just let her grind herself out. With those kicks, you got to keep working the legs in the mid session and just like go for it. I think I see that path. Good, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cyborg just like comes in and just catches her. If Holly tries to be aggressive and comes in, doing the fist pumping, shifting steps out to the outside angle, that kind of stuff, I think that she is very hittable when she does that. And if she tries to do something like that, I think she's going to get KO'd. Alright, so I guess we're both crazy and going for Holly Holm.
Both on Holly Holm.
Damn. Immediately, our reputation is forever marred.
MMA podcast number 1, bitches.
Number 1 episode.
Holly Holm by a head kick. 5th round.
5th round. I like it.
JK, round 3.
Alright. Khabib versus Edson Barbosa.
Edson Barbosa is going to kick Khabib's leg off. It's going to be in the crowd.
Do you think, really, though?
He's going to try to catch the kick and get his ribs broken because Edson Barbosa can kick a building down. That's what I think.
No, I think he's going to try to start throwing those kicks, and Khabib's going to dive on those hips faster than you can say Russia. Faster than you can say corruption scandal.
I think he has all of his people behind him, and that's not good for Edson. But Edson can literally chop trees down, and I'm sure that they insure all of the heavy bags at his gym.
But if Khabib gets on top, though, do you think that Edson could even survive a round under Khabib?
Here's the problem. Edson knows that Khabib's going to wrestle. Khabib hardly makes weight, and his gym has a questionable training style in which people get hurt and seem to get tired. And I don't see Khabib grinding out Edson. When it comes to a cardio fight, which it could potentially be, if Edson Barbosa's wrestling is any good at all, it's going to come down to a cardio thing. And I do honestly believe, given the training style of Edson versus Khabib, Edson's cardio coming out on top.
Okay, I don't disagree with you that Edson may have the better cardio, but when Khabib is on top of you, it's like getting punched by a heavyweight. It doesn't even make sense. You hear the connections, and it's like you're talking about. He could like hammer nails.
Yeah. And given Khabib's record, it's hard to bet against him. He's smashed everyone, but I think Edson is one of those people that most just they sleep on him.
Yeah,
like he's really good. Yeah. His striking's really good, and we'll have to see in the wrestling. We'll know when the wrestling happens because it will. It's gonna happen. There's going to be wrestling exchanges, and we'll see who comes out on top. But I have a feeling, given just strictly the training style of Khabib and where his camp is, if he was at a different camp, he might actually be doing better. That's my personal opinion about Khabib, is that, he'd be doing better if he wasn't at that gym. It's too wrestling heavy, and people, when they're in the octagon, can stuff takedowns. They've proven it for years, all the way back to Chuck Liddell, that you can get someone who's okay at wrestling that can stuff someone who takes downs who are good at wrestling and counter strike. And there's a
Khabib's wrestling is on another level.
It is on another level. It's good. It's gonna be. It's hard to bet against him, but I'm going. I just like Edson. I might even just say, I just like the guy. I just like Edson Barbosa. I think he deserves to get a title shot. He's had nothing but hard fights. Khabib should have had a title shot a long time ago, I feel, but he's
well, he
can't stay in the game either health wise.
He had title shots.
Yeah, his health has been an issue. Weight has been an issue, and that takes a toll on you. I'm gonna give it to Edson.
All right.
On this one, and I hate to do. I like both of them. I like both the fighters, and I hate to bet against Khabib.
This is our first split. This will drive a divisive
for the into episode number 2. If we ever make it to episode number 2.
No, I gotta go with Edson, but I mean,
Khabib. You're going with Khabib.
You hexed me.
Well, dude, he has a neck curtain, dude. That guy's bringing the fight.
Your thoughts on Cynthia Calvillo versus Carla Esparza?
Oh no, we're on Jimmy Rivera. Oh no, we're gonna do
Jimmy Rivera.
Yeah.
Is
oh
pulled.
Yeah, Calvillo is okay. This is gonna be similar. It comes down to the wrestling. Can Esparza bring down Calvillo? Can she grind her?
Yeah. Here's Esparza's really good. I mean, she was she was considered to be the best of the weight class. For a long time. She was, champ at Invicta, came over here, won the show. She looked good. But, man, Cynthia Calvillo, I think people are also, they're really sleeping on her.
They're sleeping on her.
She has really good feints. She has really good combinations. Her punches are just really tight. And she has good footwork. And she really is intelligent about when she opens up. She doesn't get wild. I think it'd be hard to take her down off a strike because she is very intelligent about what she's trying to do. And I think that Carla Esparza, her striking may be underrated, but I think this girl's got it. The better striking here. The question is,
Esparza has better striking or Calvillo?
Oh, I think Calvillo has better striking. But it's those takedowns of Carla are difficult to stop.
It's hard to call.
You know what though? I think I'm gonna call it for Calvillo because I think it's gonna be hard to take her down. She's got really good jiu-jitsu. If you take, Carla might take her down and just get subbed off her back. Subbed on the top. So we'll see. She has a really nice uppercut too. She throws these nice combos at pretty intelligent angles, and she puts her shots together really, really smartly. What do you think?
I'm gonna have to disagree and call it for Esparza.
Oh yeah.
And for one reason, she's lost a few of her last fights.
Yeah. And
she's gonna be desperate. She needs the win, and it doesn't have to do. I think on most nights, it could be 50-50. It'd be hard to call. But given that she's lost a few fights, she's gonna really want the win.
Esparza's good, man.
She's gonna force the grind. I think it's just gonna be one of those things where she needs the win. That's it. It's not even going to be a matter of skill. She's going to be desperate. And for all we know, it could cause her to lose the fight. But I'm going to call it a grind. She's going to just use an overall game plan and try to grind her out for the win.
I think if Calvillo is going to be hard to find because she, like Holmes, she also has really good lateral movement, and I think she might have some. She might just tag her coming in.
I think also she's really good at finishing her combos with leg kicks, and if Esparza can't stop the leg kicks, she's going to be eating them the entire time, and it's going to end any kind of wrestling game plan that she has because she likes to square up, come in with the boxing.
Yep.
And try to and get him up against the cage, and like you said, the uppercuts of Calvillo are very good against that style where you're just trying to come in and grab somebody and grind them up against the cage.
Yeah.
That up, the 6 to 12 is a good strike to throw.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be barring.
All right, so I'm Calvillo and you are Esparza.
Yeah.
All right. So, only one more.
One more.
What do you think?
Should be the main event.
Dude, it's good. I think it's very likely fight of the night. I mean,
Yeah.
Carlos Condit versus Neil Magny. I mean, who you got? What's gonna happen here?
I like both the fighters, but I have to give it to Carlos Condit because, in my opinion, he should have had the belt more than once if he hasn't already had it. He had the belt, right?
He had the interim belt, and then George came back and whooped his ass.
Yeah, he's a really good fighter. And I think Neil Magny, he's going to need the win. He's going to come out hard and like desperate.
Mm-hmm.
But Carlos Condit is secretly been one of the greatest, in my opinion. He's got a weird shifting head movement when he throws his strikes. He's got those old school Superman punches mixed with Muay Thai. He's got his own style. He like when he throws his punches, he always seems to be at a weird angle, like almost like his back's turned to his opponent. And you would think that he'd be in a bad spot, but he gets out of there. It's weird. He has like a weird head movement, like fighting style that not many people can emulate or have anymore.
Yeah.
And it's from days
see that,
past,
I can see that kind of head movement working on Neil Magny.
Yeah.
Who's got those long arms.
He's
you
a
can
new
get
school
inside
guy.
him.
He's all new school too, and he's a great fighter, but he hasn't fought a guy like Condit who has that weird, loppy, old Muay Thai style that's high and tight. And then works well with him. Like the only guy who's doing that kind of stuff is Donald Cerrone nowadays, and he's not doing so well. He didn't have that weird head movement. Carlos Condit's like if Dominic Cruz did Muay Thai. That's how I view Carlos Condit. And he just got too hard of fights. He's only fought savages. I think like Nick Diaz and GSP and like who has he fought that's ever been easy?
Yeah.
Like Neil Magny better be like. I hope he wasn't sleeping on him.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be like Carlos Condit. His whole thing was like not being confident enough. I think, or not taking the right fights. Because if a guy like Michael Bisping could be a champ, why the hell was Carlos Condit not champ for at least a couple defenses? Because he only has hard fights.
I thought he beat Robbie Lawler.
Yeah, me too.
Here's my problem though. I mean, you kind of said it yourself. He's been in so many wars.
A lot of wars.
How do you? Can you really trust the fact that his chin isn't completely gone? The question is, maybe he can come in. Maybe that head movement is going to work on Magny. Magny is not known for his power. He's kind of, in many ways, he reminds me of Condit because he throws long. He doesn't have tons of power, but he actually has a good amount of cardio. He can go. And now here's a guy, Carlos Condit is fighting who's like even longer than him, who can also kick, but it's just not at the same
level.
It's just, and it's not as weird. His Magny's footwork is not amazing.
More textbook than Condit, who's going to have his own style.
Condit, man.
Or do you think Condit's more textbook and Magny's little loose?
I think Magny just isn't. It's just not developed enough to me. Like I'm just not impressed by the way he moves. Not that I'm saying that I'm super impressed. I mean, the thing about Condit, Condit is one of those guys who's really dangerous offensively. But he's not hard to hit. You can definitely, and he doesn't have like a ton of power, so it's not. It's not difficult to do damage to him. You're not risking that much. It's not like when you try and get in on Tyron Woodley, and if he wins,
knocked out trying to hit him.
It's worth it. And you can catch Condit out of position. You can catch him, not perfectly balanced. He does weird stuff, and it's not always.
Yeah, his style lends to being unbalanced.
Yeah,
almost.
But here's the thing. I feel like he could almost get inside on Magny and just murder him with elbows. If he can pressure Magny, I don't think Magny likes it really when someone pressures him. I think he wilts a little bit.
Yeah.
If you can get him up against the cage,
He wants you at the end of his
and
punches
just start
staying
firing
in the center.
off. I think that you can put yourself in a position at a range where it's difficult for him to hit you almost. And Condit's so good with elbows. It's just almost a problem with those long arms.
Yeah.
But he's big, tall, and strong. Like, I can see him muscling Condit around in the clinch and stuff just because of his size. And Magny he's got some good grappling. He's got some good jiu-jitsu. They both do. It's
He's
interesting.
a brown belt. Jiu-jitsu.
But Condit has got that weird flowing open guard. I could see Magny being the one more likely to try to take it there.
So who are you calling it for?
It's so hard. This is really hard one to call. After we both picked Holly Holm, like bad men.
Nah, man. Holly Holm's going to knock her out. Stun the world. Like the last time.
I just don't have a lot of confidence in Condit at this part in his career. I think he's been in too many wars. He's had so much damage done to him. But you gotta, like, oh my gosh, like what he did to Robbie Lawler was amazing.
Yeah.
You can't sleep on the guy, and I could definitely see him getting inside, landing lots of strikes. But who do you have?
I'm gonna go Carlos Condit by decision.
Carlos Condit by decision.
It's gonna be a point game.
Yeah, I could see
I
him
don't
at
see
the
him
end of the
taking-
day out, but God, he's got a. That's a still. Magny just doesn't use his reach very well. But if he did, it'd be a real problem.
The whole thing about Carlos Condit is his combos, and he's gonna catch Magny with these weird combos, and it's gonna back him up, and he's gonna be hesitant, and I think he's gonna go in desperate the first round, and it's not gonna be good for him, because Magny needs the win, and Condit just wants to show everybody that he should be like #1 contender.
You know what? I'm gonna say Magny. Okay, Magny's gonna dominate the clinch. He's gonna overpower Condit. And I think that strength advantage is going to come in handy.
So you're going for Magny.
I'm going for Magny. I think that reach is going to be...
By the grind.
By the grind. All right. So we're going to close out the show. Did you watch the Lomachenko fight that happened a while ago?
I did not.
You did not. Well, I'm just going to talk at you about Lomachenko.
Oh, well, we
briefly.
love Lomachenko, so... The cat wants to
The
talk
cat is really...
about Lomachenko, dude.
Okay.
Volume punching for MMA.
Clearly...
MMA podcast #1, episode #1, volume punching and the grind.
Guillermo Rigondeaux is an amazing boxer, but he was exactly... I'm not that impressed by Lomachenko's victory in the sense that it's someone that he was much larger than, and he had like the specific style to beat. I think the guy that's going to beat...
And I'm going to make a guess on how the fight went, and you can tell me. The other guy covering up, Lomachenko, dancing around, breaking the guard, and volume punching.
Yeah, obviously.
And then some counters getting thrown, and Lomachenko nowhere to be seen.
But the thing is that Guillermo basically didn't throw punches.
So he was a human punching bag for however long.
Yeah, Lomachenko got him to bend over the waist, and then he just lever punched with the same arm, just like socking him up.
So he lacks competition.
But I think if he goes up and fights a guy like Mikey Garcia,
why doesn't he fight Mayweather? They different weight classes. Why doesn't that happen?
That's not going to happen.
Why not?
Because it's not enough money involved for Mayweather.
Well, people like Lomachenko more than Mayweather.
He doesn't need to put his neck on the line for cash.
Why not?
Now. Because he could find someone much.
His name is higher than ever from fighting Conor. Get the Lomachenko, dude.
If Lomachenko...
Build the brand. Boxing's a brand.
He's got to
What happens when Mayweather's finally gone, or he really is too old to fight?
God, I don't.
What's going to happen to boxing?
If I'm Mayweather, I mean, Lomachenko is smaller, but I still think that Lomachenko would pose some issues for him.
Yeah, that'd be a great fight, and it's time for a new A-side. That's what I think with boxing.
But if Mayweather was going to do that. Lomachenko would have to really make a name. Lomachenko wants to fight.
Yeah, he's 700-0, right? Some stupid shit like that.
Lomachenko wants to fight Mayweather's protege.
That's what he should do. And kick the shit out of him.
Yeah, it would not. Mayweather is not going to let it happen. He's not, because Lomachenko will murder him. He'll kill. You don't kill the golden goose.
Well, they need to fight the master.
Not going to happen.
Shit.
Not right now.
That's why boxing sucks.
No.
Say it right now. MMA podcast #1. Boxing sucks. Get into the octagon.
I think.
Watch that wide stance.
Mayweather's
get kicked
smart.
by the leg. Muay Thai leg kicks all the day, dude. Get Mayweather to fight McGregor.
Lomachenko,
MMA. Dude, 5 rounds for the belt. 5 rounds
style
for the belt.
is so
Mayweather, McGregor, #2 MMA.
I want to see.
That's what we're calling for the super fight. First episode.
Dude, Lomachenko, McGregor would be amazing. But
Maymac 2.
Now we've lost all.
Maymac 2 MMA. UFC-222. For millions.
Never gonna happen.
Mayweather was already talking shit like, oh, I'm gonna do MMA. Let's do it. People will pay. It's all about the money. You get your ass kicked one time for hundreds of millions of dollars. It's fine. You can do it. McGregor's done it.
And on that note, we are all out of our mind. We have chosen
MMA podcast #1.
Holly Holm to defeat
Holly Holm by head kick. Any round.
Cyborg is going to get in the ring, lift Holly Holm above her head, snap her in half, and suck out the juices.
Oh, no. I changed it. Holly Holm by leg lock.
Damn.
No, head kick for sure.
Don't make me ankle pick you, bro.
Should we go into the fighters that we don't know? We'll just read off the card. We're going to be interviewing Joe Rogan on MMA podcast #1, episode #2. Oh, wait, never mind.
I'd like to
don't hold me to that.
Close out this.
We don't have a Twitter or a Facebook or a YouTube, but we will. They're not going to hear shit I say because I mumble all the time.
I'm just hoping the
You can edit this shit, right? Because I'm just talking still.
Oh no! It's just
all
gonna be
go
one
on.
giant noise log. If it gets saved, look, it all might.
All right.
We might not even.
If people actually listen to this, we're gonna go over every boxing match from 1776 because we love America, and we're gonna do a history of boxing. Every fight from the founding of our nation to now. That's the next podcast. We want 2 views of this podcast, and we'll do the other one. That's all. 2. That's not a lot. Most people want like 1 million views, but we want 2 views, not 2 million. 2. So if I view it twice, we'll do the podcast.
It seems highly likely
that the podcast will happen.
Yeah.
That's still recording?
I hope that it's like the whole thing might crash.
Yeah, dude. MMA podcast #1, episode #1, crash. So we'll just start with episode #2.
I don't know.
It even makes it better though. Like to start with episode 2, there's no episode 1. People will hunt for episode 1, and it won't exist because it crashed.
Oh no!
Yeah, dude. No, it's better. It was a good practice, dude. I got used to it by the end.
Yeah. The key to the more conversational, the better.
Yeah. Well, I just have to go over the card next time because I just drove here and looked at it real quick.
I think I'm gonna have to turn it off, man.